What's up, it's your boy, the Black Andy Cap. We back for another episode of These Three Things. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Hey, we're talking about the Florida Gators. Florida Gators go down to the Texas A&M Aggies. So you saw my preview to this, or talked about this, or I talked about it last week after I took my reaction to the Texas Longhorns game. Gators looked great in that game. Just didn't feel like they could get this done. Billy just isn't good enough, not offensively. He's not good enough offensively to take his team on the road and do what he did in the swamp. He's just not good enough as a coach. He's just not. That's just the facts. You have to accept that. I love Billy. I think he's a great guy. But Billy offensively just can't get that done on the road. He's just not good enough. And even in the swamp, he struggled in the second half. 5 more minutes in that game. We don't know how that ends. And we're probably talking about another loss, and we're talking about Billy's job. Instead, we waited a week, a little hype. Everybody, oh, Billy can run the table. And now we're back where we started, back where I knew we would be after this game. Texas didn't make a lot of plays in that game in the swamp. Texas, I told you before, in my reaction video to the Texas game, I felt like Texas A&M was going to make the plays that Texas didn't. They did. Got to give the Gators defense credit. They did what they always do. They hang on. They keep the Gators in the game. The offense just can't get it done, right? Billy's offense just is not good enough to keep up with the better teams in the SEC, just to keep up with most teams. Right? Can't keep up with USF. Let's be real, right? Billy's offense is horrible. So, three things from the Florida Gators loss to the Texas A&M Aggies. Thing number one, DJ Lagway's lack of mobility is crushing this team. He doesn't move very well in the pocket. I don't know if it's because of injury. He never runs the ball, right? So when the pressure hits, he's never a threat to break out of the pocket and maybe run for a first down. Never a threat, at least not this season. He did some of that last season, but none of that this season, right? So teams know he's not moving out of the pocket. That makes him much easier to defend. Let's just send pressure. Send pressure. That's all we have to do. And let's put on top of his lack of mobility, his lack of footwork. He has very bad footwork. When he's throwing the football, he has bad footwork. He misses a lot of throws, and it's because his feet just aren't placed very well. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know what happened in the offseason that he couldn't at least work on his footwork. Maybe, I guess he couldn't stand up and walk through footwork. But his footwork isn't very good. Not sure why Billy or the quarterback coach hasn't been working on that, but his footwork is killing him. And just his overall lack of mobility makes him a statue in the pocket. It makes it much easier to defend. It doesn't put any pressure on the defense. They just rush them and they know they got him. All right. Thing number two. You know, a lot of talk about Billy as the OC and his play calling, and Billy's a terrible play caller, and so forth and so on. I don't believe it's Billy's play calling that's the problem. It's Billy's overall scheme that's the problem. And more specifically, it's his blocking scheme. You look at Billy's blocking schemes, right? Teams have figured it out, right? They just overload zones on the line. They overload the blocking zones, and there's too many people and not enough people to block. And so that's what they do. Billy doesn't have a way to, he doesn't know how to see these things. It's a flaw in his system. Billy can't adjust, right? His scheme is his scheme, and particularly the blocking scheme, it does not adjust, right? Look what happened. First quarter, he came out like gangbusters. After the first quarter, he couldn't get anything done. He couldn't adjust. Texas A&M adjusted, and now Billy couldn't move the football. Went in at halftime. They went in and added a little more sauce to it, right? Came back out there, and they just shut Billy down. There was nothing Billy could do. Billy got desperate. Goes for it on 4th and 6 because it was his best field position, right? He knew he couldn't get in, and that was the bad thing, right? It put the defense in a bad position all night, just like it did with Miami. He can't move the ball, so field position you're always at a disadvantage at field position. And the punter is awful, right? He can't get the ball up the field, and when he tries to, he's kicking the ball out of bounds. Terrible field position. He can't change field position for you. It's just a disaster. But Billy's scheme is awful. Billy, your scheme is awful. You need to go get an OC, but it's going to be too late because you're going to get fired this season because you would not listen. And I'm going to be frank. I love you, man. You're a great guy. I think you've done a lot for these players as individuals, as people, even as college students. I think you've set them on the right track. Everybody that comes to this program talks about the academics. Love what you've done. I'm not worried about, some weirdo crime spree happening with this group. I think these guys are focused on being better people, both academically as well as athletically on the football field. But you just can't get it done on the offensive side of the ball, bro. You got to go. It's just the bottom line. You just got to go, right? That's just what needs to happen. And that's thing number 3. That is thing number 3. Billy got to go. Or, Billy, you got to go get an OC. That's bottom line. I won't say Billy has to go. Billy has to get an offensive coordinator because you look at everything else he's done with the team. It's great, right? You look at what he's done with recruiting. The players seem to like him. They play hard for him. But, it's obvious what the problem is. The defense did what it was supposed to do, like it's done every game this season. And the offense has done what it's done every game this season, with the exception of Texas, but it did to Texas in the second half. They get shut down because Billy can't adjust. Billy's offense is Billy's offense. He thinks he can find a play that works, and it's not how it works. People have blown up the scheme, Billy. They know how to blow the scheme up. You've got to make bigger adjustments, and you're just not capable. Because if you were, I believe you would make those adjustments. You don't know what to do. That's it. You just simply don't know what to do. And so teams are shutting you down when it matters. So those are my 3 things. My reaction to the Gators getting beat by Texas A&M. Unfortunate for this defensive team. But I think it's time to start thinking about what's ahead in the future in terms of head coach for Florida. Somebody needs to be getting on the phone talking to people, right? My man out in Indiana, is he willing to leave and come? Well, but that's another episode of these 3 things. We'll save that. We'll save that conjecture as we get further along in the season because I don't think they're going to announce Billy's firing until they get close to the end of the season. But if they don't fire him, I don't know what they're going to do. Right? He's got to get an OC, but I think he's gone just because I think he's going to be too stubborn to go get an offensive coordinator. But anyway, this is your boy, the Black Andy Cap. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment. All right. Let me know what you're thinking out there. We'll see you next time. Peace.